Taylor, here we go. Race number 6. This one promises to be a belter. We've got a really interesting grid and a more than interesting circuit. Daytona International Speedway. Plenty of overtaking opportunities here with the Williams team there on the right-hand side. Locking out that right-hand side. They're going to look to try to move into this race as it is their final race of the day. Rolling up towards the start line then. Sebastian Job on pole position, controlling the pace as we roll up to the line. And away we go. Here we go then. Down towards turn 1, always going to be a point of contention as the red line drivers there lock out the front row. As now Pfeffer looking towards the inside, down towards the international horseshoe. Always going to be a moment or two here as Pfeffer looks for the inside. It's going to attack. Some contact already, and that's Moritz Lerner going spinning round and down to the bottom of the order.
That was Moritz Lerner with a bit of contact from one of the Williams guys. That will be looked at by race control, but you saw the way Tobias Pfeffer tried to get in the middle of those two red lines. Sebastian Job and Luke Bennett did a great job coordinating that start so that they would get 1 and 2. And remember yesterday, last chance qualifier at Daytona, Williams were the ones 1 and 2. They were unbeatable when they were in that situation. Will it be the same for red line?
Yeah, strong position for red line. The mid-pack so close. 2.6 separating the entire grid of 12 onto the banking for the first time as we head towards the bus stop. Is anyone going to make a mistake here? You see they're just slipping out of the slipstream as they don't want to really overtake going in, or is he? He's going to cover the inside. Is the Williams a bit of contact there? He's just going to let him slot back in ahead before the bus stop though.
Goodness me, I think that was a misjudgment more than anything. Daniel Pastor just in front of us as we ride on board with Max Benneker. Already 2 places gained in that start, and now, as you say, sweeping out of the slipstream just to try and get that slingshot. He's got to be worried about 2 red lines trying to pair up behind him here.
Yeah, Mouse in a bit of trouble here. Yuri Kastop up in 4th, but he desperately needs the help of Max Benneker. We saw this yesterday in the incredible race 7. Teamwork is so important, especially on these tracks like Monza and Daytona, as now Benneker looking to the outside. It's going to be really difficult here. You see there the Williams team quite cleverly box him in. We have a challenge for the race lead, and that is Tobias Pfeffer around the outside very wide. He's not quite going to get it, but he does move up to 2nd.
He doesn't get the lead, but he has split the red lines up, and that is crucial for everybody else if you're not on Team Red Line. Side by side between Kastorp and Pfeffer, and it's going to be the German who prevails. Kastorp forced to tuck in behind, and Job slips to 4th place. He goes from 1st to 4th.
Yeah, that's going to be quite important for this race. Splitting up the red lines. It's not even 1st, 3rd, it's 1st and 4th. So Job now with a lot of work to do to try to get back onto the back of his teammate there. Williams looking pretty strong. 2nd, 5th, 6th and 7th. That is a solid points haul at the moment.
Very solid points haul for Williams as it stands. They are looking to set Vitality a target effectively here. The team with the least points at the moment, by the way, is Virtus.pro, so we'll keep an eye on them in the last 2 races, but they're doing the last 2 back-to-back. This is Williams' last race, in case you didn't hear us say it earlier. This is their last race, and they need to set a target for the others to try and beat, as that was close. A bit of defence there from Sebastian Job as Blyer put the pressure on.
Let's take a look at this replay then, as this is the replay of lap 1 with... That was Moritz Lerner just being tagged by the Williams driver. Is there going to be a penalty perhaps for that? We're going to surely go to the stewards room and take a look at that, but for the time being, Pfeffer remains there in 2nd in the very close slipstream. In fact, less than 2 tenths, a 1/10.5 between the top 3. Look at that, they're effectively pushing each other up the straight. And here comes Sebastian Job with a good run, but he's actually going to back out and just play it safe for the time being.
They're all forming a very British queue there in towards turn 1. That was very orderly. And finally, Yuri Kastorp splits it up. I think there was contact with the pit wall there, as there was a bit of a squeeze from Pfeffer. Didn't quite give enough room there, in all honesty, the German, but Kastorp doesn't lose anything out of it, really. He has to defend from Job and Blyer, who are side by side in behind as well. You see that in the distance. Blyer trying to get through, and then this is the madness going on from 7th place.
Yeah, so quite clearly this group here has been fighting quite intensely. We haven't seen it on camera, but the gap between 6th and 7th is already 2 seconds. So we have a race of 2 here, 2 groups of 6, with Rietveld here at the head of the 2nd group. So it's going to be quite difficult for him to bridge the gap back to 6th place. So he's really just going to try and cement 7th place for the time being.
out of the turn 6 and onto the banking. You can see who's really doing well in this group. I think it is pretty clear because the groups are split into two effectively, 2 of 6. 3 Williams in the top group to 2 red lines and 1 Mouse. I think that gives a very clear description of who's where. And Joe trying to make it better for Redline as well as he moves to the outside of Kastorp.
2 by 2 into the bus stop, and very sensibly Kastorp backs out. I was really hoping he wouldn't go through there side by side. Smart decision. He actually had a bit of a moment there mid-apex. He's going to drop away slightly, the gap opening up there. And this is not good news perhaps for Williams, as now Job has just made his way back. And if he could just close that gap back up, we perhaps will see Luke Bennett just begin to slow down Pfeffer and just back him up to get some assistance from Job.
Let's see in towards turn 1 what's going to happen here. Does Pfeffer go for the lead or stay behind? It looks like he stays behind again, but they're not staying behind anybody in the background. Kastorp and Blyer side by side this time round. Blyer shoved to the outside. Kastorp's going to get that 4th place back again. He will clear and then go defensive, and the 2 teammates aren't going to hit each other. So current points as it stands, no penalties coming through just for the moment. Williams Sim Racing would be on the same as Redline on 132, although Redline have 1 more race to go, and Miles will be on 89. That's fairly low with 1 race to go, but they'll be battling with Vitality for that bottom spot maybe. That would though confirm Redline and Porsche Coanda as being in tomorrow's round, no matter what, if things stay as they are.
Yeah, very, very expected, to be honest. Let's take a look at this replay. This is Sebastian Job going around the outside, opting to go right to the right-hand side and the outside. And I think this was smart driving, to be honest. Just you can see the brake as Kastorp there quite sensibly backs off, settles in behind, and just tries to get back into the slipstream. It's just really not worth going side by side. You're going to lose so much time by doing that. So very smart driving. Sometimes if you're going to lose a position, you just got to do it in the way that will lose you the minimum amount of time. So Kastorp realises that, and he's back in the race, back in 4th.
Even in a race like this, you end up thinking about things like that, trying to keep your race time down as much as possible. Speak about it in those longer races, endurance racing, but it applies here as well. Here comes Tobias Pfeffer, closer than he's ever been, but he really doesn't want to go through, does he? I'm slightly puzzled by this.
It's a really difficult decision because Bennett is just covering the low side of the track, and obviously because it's banked and still turning to the left, you really do have to go the long way around the outside. So I think perhaps he knows that even with the slipstream, he doesn't have quite enough to go alongside and clear Bennett. So rather than go to the outside and get caught on the outside into turn 1, he'd rather just stay behind. It's probably the smart decision.
But, you know, I think it's fraught with danger because Sebastian Job is there. Again, if they let Redline 1 and 2, I know it didn't actually work on lap 1, which is kind of surprising in itself, but if they get 1 and 2 there, Redline, I can't see a way in which they get past. And surely Williams of all teams must know that, because that's exactly how they're in this group in the first place.
Yeah, it's a really difficult decision to make. You know, these guys are pushing these cars to the limit every corner, and yet they're still trying to make strategic decisions as well. Obviously, we have our team managers, I'm sure, updating them on the best advice. But a lot of the time, you just have to judge it for yourself. And I think it's been smart racing so far. Tobias Pfeffer there, just remaining in second. It's good for the time being. I don't think Job is quite close enough to really challenge just yet. But perhaps towards lap 9, we might begin to see some challenges. You see there again, not opting to go for the overtake, just remaining behind for the time. And into the bus stop is never normally the best place to go. Just try to settle in, take a single file, and really focus on that exit onto the back straight.
Meantime, first penalty has come through from this race, and it goes to Dominic Blyer. 4 licence points, first of all, which is 4 points taken away immediately, but a 3-second penalty as well. So this group needs to get a move on, otherwise Blyer's going to lose a lot of points to those in behind. Dennis Schoninger seems to have been shot out the back of the group as well for some reason. So there is going to be some unpicking and unpacking to do there as Pfeffer waits again.
Yeah, some pretty big gaps opening up in that second half of the field. Tobias Pfeffer looking towards the inside, really confident driving from Luke Bennett. He knows his braking point, and he's not really going to start defending and start blocking, as now Sebastian Job right on the back of Pfeffer. So this group at the front, 0.8 separating the top 5. This is going to be incredibly interesting to watch for the next couple of laps.
How is it going to resolve itself in the next 4 laps as well here? Because Pfeffer's been waiting so much. I can't believe he's going to just wait until lap 9 and just draft past him. A, because that's going to be very difficult to do, but B, because Redline surely aren't just going to let him do that. Oh no, don't tell me it's teammates. Oh wow! 3 wide into turn 1 as Daniel Pastor tried to get down the inside of 3. Dennis Schoninger was the one who spun round all the way. Watch for this reaction. Oh no, wasn't there very expressive at all, was he? But there you go. He drops to the back end of the field. That was, 3 didn't fit into turn 1 there with that pit wall on the inside.
Yeah, this race is very much a story of 2 halves. The front half really minimising that time loss in the race. They're working together, they're being very smart. They're not really fighting too much. That second half though, meanwhile, 7th to 12th, they're really going at it every corner. Huge moment there from Luke Bennett, seemingly. He just has that car really under control very nicely. Like a good slip angle through there to get the rotation. And it looks like he's about to spin out at every moment, but he just has the car under perfect control, seemingly. Daniel Pastor there back in 11th place on the back of Moritz Lerner, who had, of course, that incident on the International Horseshoe on lap 1. Still trying to recover some points. You know, if he can get this overtake done, it is still a points gain. Is that Sebastian Job around the outside? And this is going to be a really strong position for Redline if they can complete this.
And that's exactly what we were previewing with Tobias Pfeffer. He could not allow that to happen, and Team Redline have done it. Lap 7, they are 1 and 2, and with this being so late on in the race, surely they're going to go on to win from here. We've previewed it time and again. I can't believe Williams have let that happen, given that's exactly the reason they are here. They won the last chance qualifier with Pfeffer, and was it Blyer out front? They just bump drafted, well not bump drafted, but they were 1 and 2. They protected that lead together, and they were very difficult to beat in that situation. Why they think it's going to be any different with Team Redline, I'm not sure.
I think that's yet again some really smart driving from Redline. I think they were noticing that Pfeffer wasn't really going for the move, so I think Bennett there just kind of backed him up on the inside and just coasted into the corner a little bit slower than you normally would, and that kind of allowed Job around the outside, and it was just a well orchestrated overtake. So really interesting tactics. Obviously, you know, it's a team event here, and so it's more than just a load of individuals going up against each other. There's this room for these intricate team moves, and I think that was a really good example of an orchestrated overtake.
Let's see if they can orchestrate a race win here between the two of them. Sebastian Job currently leads, only a winner 1 time in 2025 so far. This is how it happened. So Bennett's just, I don't know, he's not lifting off, but he's just getting a double slipstream there, is Sebastian Job on the outside line. And then the difficult part comes in when you're actually on the brakes here. And there you go, there's where the orchestration comes in. A little bit earlier on the brakes from Bennett to just allow his teammate through on the outside.
And now we have Blyer here on the outside of Castor. This is Pfeffer still trying to attack. I mean, look at that. It's a wall of Redline BMW M4 GT3s. It's so difficult to penetrate. He's trying his hardest, but based on yesterday's evidence of race 7, I think Kike Oliveira found it very difficult to try to infiltrate into a group of 2. It's incredibly difficult to do. 2 against 1 is massively in the favour of Redline here. I think if Dominic Blyer can get through into 4th, that would be a massive help to Tobias Pfeffer.
Oh, it looks like Yuri Kasdorf more likely to get through at the moment as he goes the outside of the West Horseshoe, but he won't manage it there. He has another look in towards turn 6, but not quite for the moment. They do have 3 Williams cars here. You'd think they'd be able to organise something, but I just don't know how Pfeffer's going to do this with 2 red lines in front. Bennett, by the way, has only won 1 race in R1 at a LAN event in the past, so he's been here on 3 occasions now. His 3rd appearance here. I'm not even sure if that LAN win came here or whether it was at one of the other majors, but yeah, he's not had too much success at LAN events. This would be a big win for him, and a big win for Redline as well if they could finish 1 and 2. I believe it would be our first team 1 and 2. Oh no, sorry, we saw Porsche Commander earlier do one, excuse me, but Pfeffer certainly going to want to disrupt that as he comes out the bus stop now in towards turn 1. Now for the final time this will be.
I do wonder if Williams have kind of looked at their position and their overall point score, and they've kind of maybe settled for it. I think they might be happy with this. I think James Baldwin was ruling them out earlier today, which was probably an incorrect call, and you know, he doesn't have experience around here in GT3, so he's not quite got the right call there. But actually there's an attack coming here from Pfeffer. He goes through past Bennett, so Bennett down to 3rd, although a late move around the outside. I think that's once again Job just trying to back up the Williams driver on the inside line, and he does actually complete the move. So Bennett down to 3rd here.
Well, he's going to give it all he's got now, is Bennett, and no, he can't. And now there's the same happening, this time for Dominic Blyer to work his way around the outside. Now, don't forget, he's got a 3-second penalty, so he's going to finish down in 7th, no matter what happens here, and that could change things later for Williams, but he's making a nuisance of himself, and he can get down the inside of Bennett, he could really help out, and that would just take away Redline's advantage, because don't forget, Job and Bennett are going to again help each other on that crucial run to the line.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible finish to this one. Sebastian Job, I mean, he's actually gone very wide there on the exit of 6. Is Sveff going to be able to nip underneath? I'm not quite sure. Actually, that gap is coming down. Has he nipped underneath him here? He has. He's got side by side towards the bus stop. There's going to be some teamwork here, 2 by 2. It's Redline on the outside versus the Williams team on the inside now with Castor coming in as well.
Oh my word, 3 wide into the bus stop chicane. It's all on the line here for Williams as they try and get themselves into tomorrow. Inside line, and he's not going to do. Oh, there's contact. Bennett and Pfeffer go off the road and into the barrier. We said that Williams might well be pleased with their situation. They won't be anymore. And look, it's Dominic Blyer on the inside. He's got a penalty. Don't worry about him. It's going to be Sebastian Job versus Yuri Kazdorp, and maybe Vasilis Balaziotis as well.
Oh, this is going to be an incredible finish. I don't know who's going to win this one. Job is coming back. There's contact. Oh my God, that's Kastorp into the wall, spinning out. Dead heat here between the two of them, and I think Job just got that.
Wow.
That was so close. Look at that, 0.019. Ooh, we are going to have to dissect that one big time, because a couple of cars spinning off. That was such a highly contentious race right to the final moment. My goodness.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think Redline are going to end up with a 1-2, and look at Yuri Kazdorp. He knows that was a chance to win here for Maus. Has that cost them a place in the bracket phase tomorrow? He knows that that could have been a crucial moment, but there's going to be so much talked about that. Bennett is already complaining about something there. There's going to be so many stewards in